Welcome to the Go STR live stream. I'm Sam Mastretta, your host for the next 15 spicy minutes in the Falaya Focus podcast studio here, where we take a sneak peek behind the scenes look at professional Airbnb hosts around the world that have had such great success. Their guests keep coming back time and time again to visit their outstanding properties. And today I have the honor and the thrill to talk to Mr. Mike Stone.
What's up, Sam? It is a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Where are you at, Mike? Where are you coming to us live?
I am in Phoenix, coming out of Phoenix, Arizona. I operate here in Phoenix and Scottsdale. I'm trying to expand a little bit here in the Valley, but I'm currently a local operator. I'm not the guy who's got the guts to go out of state yet.
I hear you. And what's the name of your company?
We're AllSTR Hospitality. I pronounce it AllSTR. We spell it ALLSTR for short-term rentals, which I didn't realize how many times I'd have to explain that when I'm giving people my email address on the phone. So regrettable, but we are AllSTR Hospitality, and I'm sticking to it.
Awesome. I love it. Well, let's get going and have some fun in the next 15 minutes. What do you say, Mike?
I'm here for it. It's been great working with Go STR, and I love talking everything STR, MTR. Obviously, I've known you for a few years now, and it's been a pleasure working with you. So happy to jump right in.
Absolutely, man. So speaking of jumping right in, how did you jump into the short-term, or I know you do midterm rental as well, but how did you jump into this space?
So I hated my last job so much that even the first night before my first day at work, I was thinking of business ideas and thinking like, man, it's not good to be starting a new job already looking to get out. But I just knew that it wasn't for me. The fact that it was a W-2 at all is really, I don't do good with authority and bosses and show up at 9, leave at 5. Like that was so not for me. So I started learning about investing first in the stock market, made a little bit of money there, and then put that all into real estate. Once I started learning about real estate, I was like, this is definitely for me, especially short-term rentals where the barrier of entry was so much lower and the cash flow was so much higher than a traditional rental that it was a no-brainer for me.
Absolutely. Love it. So we know you're in Arizona. So tell us about how many properties you operate, what cities specifically, and things like that.
Sure. Yeah. So I have core inventory of about 8 right now. A couple of them we're doing some substantial renovations on some really high-end properties. And then I have more access to additional properties for my midterm rental business. I have a database of a bunch of properties in the area that I keep tabs on. Some that I used to operate as Airbnbs, some that are just, friends of mine in the area who are optimized with their calendar to take a midterm rental booking if I get a claim that doesn't fit in one of these homes, either for price or location or whatever it is. But my core inventory right now is up to 8 properties, and I'm looking to scale that up to 30 total within the next 2 years.
Nice, man. And I know you'll do it. So,
Thanks,
Phoenix, Scottsdale area, what sort of people like coming there for your short-term rentals? And then what sort of people like or need to go there for your midterm rentals?
Yeah. So it's interesting coming up, getting started. Most of my short-term rentals were the smaller size. I had, everything from a studio and 1 bedroom. I had a bunch of 2s, a whole bunch of 2s. And then like 1 3-bedroom when I first got started. And so I've been evolving my property more into the larger and more luxurious space. And so I've transitioned from people who needed a place to stay, I just need a quick 2-bedroom, I'm passing through, to people who want a place to stay and they're coming here for vacations and fun, bringing their families. Corporate travel is super popular. And so I'm having a really good time with that. The high quality of guests, the high quality of home, the fun, beautiful designs, like that's where I'm focusing on now. So I've gotten rid of all of my 2-bedroom properties except for the one on the bottom right of your screen, which is a cute little casita in the back of a 3-bedroom property. And it does really, really well. So I'll leave it rolling. But other than that, I'm focused more on 3s and 4s. And so big families, big groups. I have one house, the bottom left of this screen or middle of the screen right here with the pool and the red wall. That one is a short-term rental specific property. I can never do midterm rentals there. Actually, a friend of ours, Trent from the STR Secrets Mastermind, called me up one day to transition management while it was already booked out through summer and into the fall of weekend bookings for bachelorettes. So he called me and said, will you take over this party house? And I said, oh boy. So I was very concerned, but it's actually been seamless. We have a great rating, I think 4.98. And the guests have been super respectful, having a great time, but cool with the neighbors, no issues. So I'm in a really good spot right now with some very good quality of guests.
Awesome. So you mentioned bachelorette parties and bachelor parties, stuff like that. So like, what are some like hidden gems, kind of local attractions, restaurants or something like that, that somebody that may not know Phoenix, Scottsdale area think would be cool, or even if they have visited there, they may not have ran across?
Yep. So Scottsdale, what's nice about Phoenix and Scottsdale both is that we're driving distance to literally anything within no more than 2 hours. If you go really extreme, you could even be snowboarding in 2 hours. So
Wow.
it's really nice, but mostly people are here for the actual amenities that I provide, which is cool, which is where the top two, top left and top middle of the screen, we're doing really amenity heavy overhauls on this property so that we can bring people to Scottsdale just in the backyard. Pickleball is becoming insanely popular. I know that's a countrywide thing, but here it's like there's leagues popping up. There's Airbnbs with 2, 3, 4 courts. There's just different groups who are traveling. I've one friend who's bringing her pickleball league on a Airbnb tour of Airbnbs with pickleball in the back. So I'm putting in a pickleball for her. But then of course there's just other basic stuff around here. Like, Phoenix is known for its hiking. Our mountains are absolutely incredible. We have high-end restaurants down to from fast food to super luxe, high-end restaurants and everything in between. So it's there's so much going on here that you're really coming for the variety. But again, if I could bring everything to them in the backyard, that's going to be the biggest needle mover as far as the nightly rate and the occupancy.
Yeah, just convenience to great amenities, right?
Yeah, and I get a ton of people who are here visiting family too. What's cool about Phoenix and Scottsdale is that I think it's like 80% of us who live here are transplants, which means that we have, other people from our other families coming to visit us, but then also it's just a constant flow of people moving in, moving out, coming in for just a 6-month stint. Hey, I want to live in Phoenix for a little while, and then I don't. Great. So it's interesting and diverse group around here for being lost in the desert.
Yeah. So Mike, I'm a Southern boy, right? I'm in South Louisiana, right? We have like 1.5 seasons, right? Tell me about your seasons, your seasonality, things like that. What's kind of peak season? What's kind of low season? Things like that.
It's vicious, man. I'm in low season right now. June. We just had our first 100-degree day this week for the summer. Okay. We'll have another 100 to 110. I've seen as high as 115 in June, July, and August. It's a lot. I definitely prefer it to be warm than cold usually. But then the rest of the year is fine. I would say October, the golfers and snowbirds start coming back. Around, let's say, November, whether it's Thanksgiving or maybe even around Christmas, that's when the tourists start coming back. So by January, February, and March, our seasonality is such a dramatic spike positive that we make the money for the year. And then the shoulder season's good and summer's miserable, but you're like, well, I had a great beginning of the year. So January, February, March is where it's all at. And it's violent. It's not like, oh, we have a pretty good summer and a pretty bad winter. Like San Diego, obviously you'd rather be there when the weather's nice and then it cools down a little bit less. We are just such a volatile spike, but keeps me on my toes.
I love it, man. Absolutely. So speaking of weather and location and stuff like that, so I see a map on the screen here. What are we looking at on the screen here?
This is specific to my core inventory. You'll see right here, this reddish one is Scottsdale. We got to update that, make it purple. It's my bad. But right here, so this is Scottsdale. On the far left is Phoenix. You'll notice on this map, I'm actually going to click in and zoom out a little bit. The Phoenix is absolutely enormous, and it's all like marked by these highways here. This is like generic Phoenix. If you go west, it's lower quality homes, and in my experience, lower quality guests. But as you go to the east and to the north, this is Scottsdale here between these highways. This is where everybody, especially even midterm rentals, everybody wants to be east of this highway right here that's kind of got the weird shape. Everything here, and then the farther north you can go. This is where it gets really wealthy, really fun to be around. You got the Scottsdale Airport right there, private jets flying in, and then some of the best golf in the country is all around here, up this highway, and then up through here. Some of this above where the highway curves is luxury golf, private courses you could not get into unless you know a guy who knows a guy. It's a great place to come hang out and play, and then all the hiking is a little bit north of that.
Awesome. No, I love it. I'm not familiar with the area, but I want to get familiar with it.
It's beautiful, man. It's a great place to live, great place to vacation for sure.
Yeah, man. So this is your site that you can direct guests to if they want to book. Who built this site?
This is a Boostly website. I've been a very happy Boostly customer for a while, which is ironic because as we're doing this, some of my properties are not loading and I'm having integration errors, but that's not a testament to Boostly overall. That's a today issue that I'm working on the last week and a half and probably another week to go. But in the meantime, big fan of Boostly, big fan of Mark Simpson and his education. He actually has been tremendously impactful on my income, because when I was first getting started in short-term rentals and I was realizing that I needed to build out a website, I was digging in deep to his direct book education, and he helped me get into midterm rentals, because all that is direct booking, building your own book of business outside of the OTAs, outside of Airbnb. And so I became obsessed with that concept. And in doing so, it set me up to learn about midterm rentals, which I do in the majority of my homes, the 3 bedrooms, the 2 bedrooms, especially the former ones, and even the 4 and 5 bedrooms. I've had a ton of success with midterm rentals out here. And so I give credit to Mark and Boostly for that, as well as for my beautiful website, which will be perfect by the end of this week.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you for giving me some knowledge about midterm rentals too. Man, that's been great. You know what you're talking about. So let's get into the good stuff here, man. Let's dive into some of these beautiful photos and some of these properties. Can you take us on a little tour of some of your favorites?
Absolutely. I'm scrolling down the main page right here, so you just see a little bit of what's going on with the Boostly website. I love how it looks, and I'll jump right back in here to the properties. As I said, I know we got to figure out a couple of the integrations, but I'll show you some of my favorites.
Yeah,
starting with, I'll show you the STR only one, the Bachelorette party. This is from Trent Blackwell in our STR Secrets Mastermind, who called me out of the blue and asked me to host a party house. And tell you, I was very nervous. I've never really welcomed parties. I'm kind of a I monitor my guests to make sure everything's good. Not once they're in, but during the inquiry and the booking process. I'm very clear about why are you here? Especially on some of the smaller and low quality properties, there's not always the best intentions, at least when I was first getting started, before I got my systems really dialed. Now things are great and that process is seamless, but it's still something that I'm happy to implement. So when he was like, hey, do you want people who are definitely going to be loud and drunk? I was a little concerned, but he's done the right thing. The house is huge. The yard is relatively secluded. There's only really one neighbor that would care, and I introduced myself to him politely, and he was very nice. So they've been operating at a high level since before I got here. I don't remember what their review score was, but since I've been in now, it's a 4.98. And so, no issues. This house is stellar, man. And I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from the guests about their stay and the amenities, and it's just been great. And Trent's a good to work with as well. I'll slide here to, let's pick this one. I hope the photos are organized, ready to go on this one, because this is my biggest MTR contract ever. I had a guest request a 5-month stay, and they paid $45,000 a month from their insurance budget to be in this home. And
that is incredible.
Yeah, they furnished it. It was partially furnished. They furnished it for us. I didn't even know what furniture was in the house because the other company took care of everything. A lot of these pictures have outdated furniture as well, but just a huge, huge $3 million building. These bunk beds make my cleaner mad. They're all built into the wall, and pretty awful to overturn. But just a stellar kitchen, stellar yard, huge complex. They have here. So this basketball court right here, we're actually painting it with pickleball and putting up the net, because that'll cost us, since it's already poured, it'll be like $5,000 to get it all done, and it'll add about $20,000 to her annual revenue to add that pickleball alone, let alone the other furniture we're going to add to the back. So it'll be a fun redesign. Obviously, it's a little bit outdated, so it needs a paint job and some things like that too. But yeah, stellar property. Man,
so that's a MTR and a STR?
Yeah, well, the MTR ended, and the owner said, "Do you host STR MTRs regularly?" I was like, "More regularly than you realize, based on how you guys were." And so she was like, "Can we keep going?" I said, "Absolutely." Kidding me? I would love to. So, and what was great about that is that property, being as nice as it is, gave me credibility when I talked to other owners, like the owner of this one. This is a 6-bed, 5-bath home that is, it was horribly managed.
Right here?
Yeah, this one right here had a 4-star overall review, because the previous managers, they started with a 4-star, was their first review. They didn't delete the listing, got a few 5s, and then within their 8th and 9 reviews were 1 stars each for pest control, because the second one, they still hadn't fixed the bugs crawling up the walls from the 3 nights previous. So that manager was just dropping the ball. I showed up, there was weeds up to my calf in the backyard, and the backyard I'm going to get to right here, you'll see, is mostly gravel. So I sit with this guy and I said, look, I showed him the previous property that I just showed you guys. I was like, look, we could make your home absolutely stellar You'll see so much room here on the left and the right for RV gates and gravel, but what do we need this much gravel for? So I said, and stuff, I guess we didn't put the gravel pictures on the Boostly site, but you see there's just so much room. I said, if we add some amenities, putt, or mini golf and some mesh up for a golf simulator or a driving range kind of thing, just basic stuff that people can do things here. It's already a beautiful interior, and he really liked the idea. So we're going to invest about $200,000 into the backyard alone and bring this property up a notch. And it's going to be absolutely. So I'll show you one more just for fun.
Yeah,
this already has the amenities decked out. Basketball in the yard, in addition to pickleball, huge pool, water slide. Like, it's just crazy. But let's bring it back to reality with something a little relatable. This is a 3-bedroom that I can't help but stay booked as an MTR. I started as an STR and we were doing really, really well. Perfect 5-star rating after dozens and dozens of guests. I don't remember how many reviews I have at this point, but it's been immaculate. But every time I put it back on the STR market, I get a new inquiry, and for something in this area, and it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, shared backyard with the casita that's not included, but still I charge $5,000 to $7,000 a month, depending on seasonality, and I've never had any pushback from the MTR housing specialists. And I'm telling you, man, I had 2023, I had a 6-month stay, a 1-night Airbnb, a 1-night VRBO, and then another 6-month stay. So I literally had 100% occupancy in this home for 2023. Wow. Yeah, it was bananas.
That's a home run, man.
So nice.
People love that property.
That's it, man. It's the best. So keeps me paid, keeps me happy.
Awesome.
That deal actually right there is an arbitrage deal. I've cut all of my arbitrage deals and I only co-host now, except for this casita that's in the back of that property that I just pulled up. And so those are the only two, but they do so well that I'm just not so quick to get rid of arbitrage for those two only.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it works and it does well, keep going, man.
That's it. I might lose a little bit for summer the next couple months, like break even-ish. Yeah. But then, like I said, that spike in January, February, March, it's just bananas. So we'll make it up for the whole year.
Yeah. I love it, man. Well, look, kind of bringing this home, Mike, where can guests find you to rent if they plan to be in the area?
So best thing to do if you're just going to directly rent, I would say go to allstarhospitality.com. And what I would recommend, instead of just picking a property, although you're certainly welcome to, by the end of the week, if this site will be fully functional, it's already 95% there, but the last little things I'll get fixed. But what I would actually recommend is at the bottom right of the screen, you can see is a little WhatsApp chat that comes right to me. So I have that dialed into my personal phone. If you go there, send me some information about the intention of your stay, and I can kind of direct you through the properties based on which areas you're going to want to be near. If you're here for golf, or you're here just to stay in the backyard, like I was saying, or hiking or restaurants, I can give you like location guidance as well as pricing guidance, because I'm just at a point where my properties are so sporadic as far as price point, and irrespective of seasonality, on any given day, it can be all over the place. So I would love to just help any guest find the best property for you and your needs and your family. Let me know by reaching out just on that WhatsApp chat. Or if you want to find me on Instagram at Mike Stone Group, I'm happy to just direct. I'm doing my very best to keep up with my DMs. Instagram is where I try to funnel everything because that's what I keep up with the best. And so, yeah, if you just message me, I'm happy to help you find a spot. Plus, I have inventory that's outside of this website, just my non-core inventory. I can refer you to anybody who's got a nice home as well.
Awesome. And so how about investors? Where can they find you if they want to work with you in some of this, midterm insurance?
Yeah, investors, I would love. So you could get a quick preview on allstar.com. This is allstarhospitality.com. That's the direct booking website. If you go to just allstr.com, has a little bit more of the investor side of information. And so you could go there. You could also get my phone number and email right there and just contact me direct. But I'll answer the phone for investors who want to invest in the area. Just feel free to reach out, 602-488-0223. Just hit me up and we will find a spot. I have partnerships now with a company called Search and Cribs. And then, so Search will literally find you a property that will cash flow. They have 140 for 140 track record of finding really good quality cash flowing properties. It's run by John Bianchi. The man is an AirDNA genius and data genius. And so he's been able to pull together stellar properties literally anywhere in the country, but I'm covering obviously Phoenix and Scottsdale primarily, where I can help you find the property in the first place to invest in. He will walk you from search to closing table, literally including realtors and support, everything you could possibly need to get into the property. And then if you want to do one of these crazy luxury amenity build outs that I'm doing in the top 3 on the screen, or even something similar that was less dramatic but pretty cool on the bottom left of that party house, That's where STR Cribs comes in. STR Cribs is like after MTR Cribs, right? So they're doing like 8 projects in Scottsdale right now. They have dozens all over the country where they're doing the amenity specific build out focused on ROI. So they're not trying to change your flooring to something more modern. They don't really care about paint unless it's going to affect the listing photos. They're talking about like golf simulator and pickleball, and like even we had a conversation last time about the golf sim, and I was like, we're looking at this $80,000 simulator. He goes, if that one could play 22 courses and the one I get you for 15,000 can play 8 courses, your guests are not going to care. ROI is in the $15,000 one as long as it works and it's not broken. So things like that is how they work it out. So yeah, if you want to reach out to me as an investor, I would say Mike Stone Group on Instagram, my phone 602-488-0223, and I will get you dialed in to find, acquire, and then I will operate an ideal luxury vacation rental for you.
Awesome. And we'll have that in the show notes. And last question we asked to every guest. So what piece of advice would you give to fellow short-term or mid-term rental hosts looking to stand out in hospitality like yourself?
Sam, I think my best piece of advice in STR always goes back to where you and I met, which is get in the room. For me, it was the short-term rental secrets community where I learned what to do. You can do a lot of different things in this business to make more money, to get in the game, to optimize what you're already doing. If you have the people around you telling you what the answers are, you will go so much farther, so much faster, and avoid so many mistakes that are both financial and energetic. And it's going to completely change the way you operate your business. So I would say, if that's your goal, get in the room, meet people like you, like myself, like Mike Sjogren and that whole community. There's a lot that you can learn to optimize, and that would be the way to do it.
Totally agree. Yeah. Find a group that resonates with you and get involved. Love it.
Like-minded winners, and then it's fun. It's fun
there
anyway.
You go. So much fun, man. Well, I had fun today right here in the last few minutes. Mike, thanks so much for joining me, everybody, here at the Falaya Focus Podcast Studios. I am Sam with Go STR Marketing. Guys, do yourself a favor and check out Mike Stone with AllSTR Hospitality. Live from Phoenix, Scottsdale. So I highly recommend these guys. If you can definitely tell from what Mike showed here, they are professional operators. So see you next time on the Go STR live stream. Cheers, everybody. Bye, Mike.
Beautiful. Thank you for having me.